Mark Patterson, United States Army. When I left service, I was a staff sergeant.
Okay. So, what was for you for basic training? What was the first day like?
It was a big shock. They send you to what's called a reception battalion, where they give you all your gear and you think everything's going great and they're not really yelling at you. Then they throw you on a bus. They don't just put you on a bus where you sit in a seat. You get on a bus and you sit, you're standing up. You're just packed in there together. You've got a duffel bag on your front, duffel bag on your back, and as soon as you get out of that bus, somebody's yelling at you. They're spitting in your face. They're telling you what to do. You got to run. You got to do this. You got to do that. So it was quite an eye-opening day to have someone treat you like that. And somewhere along the way, I lost my pants. So I lost my Class A pants. I had to go back and find them, which put me in more difficulty because then I had to do push-ups, and I was singled out the first day.
So what did you learn about you, who you are, through basic training?
I think, in many ways I found myself because I came into the Army not really knowing what I could do as far as physically, not knowing what I can do as far as a skill. And really, as I grew in the Army, I learned that I could lead, that I could do things that I never thought I could do before. Never would have had any idea I would have been able to do those things that I did in the period of basic training.
What would you say was the toughest part of basic training?
I think the toughest part to me was probably having to accept responsibility for somebody else's faults. So when someone else would mess up, it was a corporate problem. They would be late for formation, but everybody would have to do the push-ups, not just them. And it was a little hard to say, hey, I really have to accept what he's doing and receive the punishment for someone else. So.
Did you ever want to quit? And if you did, why did you want to quit? And how did you get through that?
I think, probably everyone has a little, probably I want to quit, especially when things aren't going the greatest. But I don't ever remember being serious about it. I think it was a pouting thing. Like, man, I'm just going to quit. But in reality, had to man up and get back in there, and I didn't have any thought that I would ever not make it. I was striving to be the best I could be.
So one last one. How would you compare your experience in basic training to your Christian walk?
Well, I think looking back now, there's a lot of comparisons. The one thing I talked about with receiving someone else's punishment, I can see how Christ did that for us. But I think it was just the discipline, just having a disciplined life, having a set time when you do things. It's a lot like part of our discipleship that we go through. We're disciples of Jesus Christ. It's not an easy life. It's not going to be an easy life. That was tough. Basic training was tough. As we went on into the field, it got even tougher. And into war got tougher. So it's not that it was going to be an easy life, but we were given the skills. We were given everything necessary to do that mission. And it sort of aligns with the same things our Christian walk. We've been given all things to complete the mission that God has given us to complete.
Well, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.